Hello, my name is Garrett, and I would like to discuss with you the importance of having coverage you need for your personal auto insurance. I have personally just finished a course to obtain my Florida Property and Casualty, or as better known as General Lines Agent Insurance License, and through my studies have learned so much more about personal auto insurance. I was drawn to study and receive my property and casualty license because of my family business that helps manage and invest in individuals or private businesses' funds. After many years of my father building and establishing a good company, he offered me a position to expand the business he has already built to be very well known. I am hoping to share with all of you some of what I myself learned during my studies and inform you a little bit better about your own personal auto insurance policies. I would like to cover a few points with everyone that I thought was of importance that I did not know until taking this course. I would like to give a few examples of why having car insurance is so important to you and other drivers on the road today. We will shortly discuss the financial responsibilities of every licensed driver and how it can help insurance companies and their clients today and in the future. I would like to cover a little bit on personal auto policy for those of us that just have cars for our own personal use. We will make sure to talk about coverages that you may or may not have on your vehicle and how you may not be covered as well as you think without special endorsements. Finally, I would like to touch base with everyone on how important it is to have an insurance agent that is willing to spend time and discuss matters with you which you do not understand. Let's begin by talking about why it is so important to have auto insurance. Well, for one, if you do have an accident, you want to have that comforting feeling that your car can be repaired to the state it was before the accident. If you were not to have auto insurance, and you are in an accident, you could be liable for all damages to the automobile or any injured party, on top of being fined by the authorities. If you continue to have accidents without insurance, the state can raise the fines with every accident, and your license could be revoked. If financial responsibility did not exist at the time of the accident, two things must happen to avoid penalties. One, the legally valid claims of others must be satisfied up to the requirements of each individual state. And two, the owner and operator must provide certification of financial responsibility for future accidents. If these two requirements are not satisfied, the driver's license of the operator and the registrations of all vehicles of the owner are suspended per Florida General Lines Agent and Customer Representative Study Manual. As an example, say Bob is driving down the road and comes to a stoplight, and the driver behind him fails to stop. Bob is hit from behind, which in most states, the driver that rear-ends anybody is usually at fault. And the driver that hit him does not have insurance, then there is no company for his insurance to recover any money, and that driver is still liable for any and all costs. This means the driver that hit Bob can be held liable in a court of law for the damages and all court costs. Bob's car gets fixed by insurance company, but the other driver is out of a car and has trouble getting to work to help pay for the damages he caused, which frustrates all parties involved. I personally had an accident a few years ago where I hit another automobile from behind. The other automobile was not damaged at all, but since it was a truck, my whole front bumper and hood was dented inward, and I had a couple $1,000s worth of damage done to my vehicle. Since I had insurance, I was covered, and my radiator that was damaged was replaced, and all body work that needed to be done was paid for by the insurance company, after I paid my deductible, of course. Without insurance, I would not have had a functioning car to get me to and from work, and would not have been able to pay my personal bills or my car insurance. It is always important to have car insurance for all parties involved in an accident and will always help prevent stress and any legal matters that may arise. Everyone out there with a driver's license can help in how much the cost of your insurance can be. The more automobile accidents there are, the higher people's premiums will go. If everyone out there would drive by the rules of the road and be honest about accidents and what should be legally covered and stop any kind of insurance fraud, that would help with the raising cost of auto insurance policies. A personal auto policy covers individuals that own a car that is titled in their name, or as the Florida General Lines Agent and Customer Representative Study Manual says, and I will quote, "The personal auto policy offers a broad coverage, specifically geared for the private family exposure." An individual wants to always look closely at his or her declarations, agreement, and definitions page, as this will tell them their coverage for liability coverage, medical payments, and uninsured motorist coverage, depending on the state, coverage for damage to your auto, duties after an accident or loss, and general provisions. This statement page will go over exactly what you are covered for and the limits and the expenses of your policy coverage. Every state is different on the requirements they have for you and your personal auto policy and what coverage you must have for the specific state's regulations. Florida, where I live, for instance, has regulations that each personal auto policy must have personal injury protection, which covers medical expenses that every individual with a personal auto insurance policy must have. You always want to make sure you have all the coverage your state requires and also all the coverage you personally think you should have. If your personal auto policy does not cover an area you think you need covered, then you can get with your insurance agent and fill out a special form called an endorsement, which will cover you for that specific instance. This may, of course, raise your premium, and how much coverage you would like for that instance may also arise the deductible, but you can always work with your agent to make you feel as comfortable with your policy as you would like. Having an insurance agent that you feel comfortable with helps in any aspect of your insurance policy. It is very important to have this. If your agent works hard for you and helps in every way you think they should, then you are more at ease with yourself that you are taken care of no matter what may come. Your agent should have the time to answer any questions you may have and explain areas that you fully don't understand. If you make sure after any accident your agent is at least one of the first 5 phone calls you make, he will be better informed and more than ready to help you resolve your problems as quickly and efficiently as possible. I hope I have raised maybe more questions for everyone that they may call their agent to question and look at their own personal auto policy and the coverage they may have. I also hope that maybe I have answered some questions that you all may have had about your insurance policy but never asked. Like, what exactly does my policy cover in the instance of medical payments or your own duties that you are expected to do after an accident? In my personal experience and meeting others that deal with insurance policies on a day-to-day basis, you can never have too much knowledge on your personal insurance policies, no matter what they may be and the state regulations for the state you reside in. I expect everyone after listening to this will probably rethink their insurance policies and talk to their agent a little more to keep them and their agent up to date on all information.